Headliner Nation, the legal tampering period isn't even here yet, and free agency already is getting wild. And Davante Adams didn't need to wait for the tampering period because he was released by the New York Jets, leaving him free to sign with any team that he wanted to right away, and he chose pretty quickly, signing with the LA Rams. That's right, Davante Adams is headed back out west, this time all the way out to LA. He's going to be getting a 2-year deal worth $46 million, but $26 million of it is guaranteed. He wanted to be in LA, and the LA Rams really wanted him. And this definitely means that the Rams are going to be moving on from Cooper Kupp. But what is this offense going to look like from a fantasy standpoint? A lot of people are super high on Puka Nacua this year. Some people even have him as a top 5 or top 3 option at the wide receiver position. I've even seen some people say that they would draft him as the number 1 overall wide receiver on the board. And while I still like Puka Nacua, I'm not willing to go that high with Davante Adams. I don't think Davante Adams is washed by any means, and I do think he is an upgrade over Cooper Kupp. Injuries are definitely starting to catch up to him, and he's just not as explosive as he once was. Davante Adams is going to make an impact for the LA Rams. And even if he isn't the high-end wide receiver one that we used to see, he's definitely going to take some targets away from Puka Nacua. And when that happens, that just brings the ceiling down a little bit. We have seen multiple wide receivers all be fantasy assets at the same time in this offensive system before. And we know Matthew Stafford can definitely find everybody as well. So if I were going to rank everybody in order on this team, you definitely got Puka Nacua up at the very top. He is still a top 10 to 12 option for me, a wide receiver one, because even if he loses a little bit of volume, having Tutu Atwell re-signed and on the outside as a deep threat, and the Davante Adams on the other side with a whole lot of attention being paid to him, leaves Puka Nacua in the slot to really kind of take over what Cooper Kupp has done over the last few years and to continue what he has done over the last 2 years. Davante Adams, to me, just because of where he's at with his age now, I would go ahead and look at him more as like a capable wide receiver too. For me personally, I would not want to draft him as my wide receiver one because he's going to lose out on that spot to Puka Nacua. And then you're still going to have some targets going to the other guy I just mentioned, Tutu Atwell, who just re-signed with the LA Rams for $11 million. The biggest loser from this is probably going to end up being Tyler Higbee. We've seen him kind of give some up and down performances in this system for a few years now. And if you were going to move on from Cooper Kupp, have Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell as your 1 and 2s, you had to think that Tyler Higbee would be a guy that would be somebody over the middle of the field that you're going to work to very often. Not so fast. You're not going to be getting those targets with Puka Nacua there and Davante Adams on the opposite side. So Tutu Atwell for me is a guy that's more of like a best ball play. He's going to have some deep balls every once in a while that he scores a touchdown on. Tyler Higbee is going to be a guy that's going to be way too touchdown dependent. He's going to score a touchdown maybe 1 week, maybe a couple of weeks, and people are going to get on board with him. But he's not going to see enough consistent volume that I want to invest in him as a top 12 option. This is really good for Kyren Williams, though, because this is just going to keep the field open all over the place. Adding another weapon at the wide receiver position is going to cause those defensive backs and even maybe those linebackers to just move back a little bit. And when that happens, you're not going to be able to stack the box nearly as much. And we know that Kyren Williams is a workhorse. He's a guy that's a workhorse even when Kupp and Puka Nacua were both healthy. Doesn't affect the volume that we were looking at for Kyren Williams anyway. So he's still going to be a guy that has top 5 upside if he can stay healthy. And really, because he finds the end zone so often, he's got like low RB1 potential every single week, regardless of the matchup. And for Matthew Stafford, he's definitely in top 12 quarterback range at this point. Me, I'm going to put him in the back third of QB1s. Probably going to be like in that 9 to 11 area for me, maybe even QB12, kind of on that back half of it. There's a lot of quarterbacks with some really solid upside this year, but I think this definitely could move him in front of like a Jared Goff if you wanted to do that, a Dak Prescott, guys like that, but definitely not Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, like none of those guys. We're going to keep all of them up in front of Matthew Stafford. And if you want to try and use them in redraft, take a look at him as being one of the back-end QB1s off the board. But Headliner Nation, let me know what you think about this deal. Do you think that Davante Adams returns to being a wide receiver 1? Do you think it affects Puka Nacua at all? Are you all on board with Kyren Williams? What do you think is going to happen with Davante Adams now being there with the LA Rams? Leave all of your comments down below and let me know your thoughts as well. But for now, Headliner Nation, I'm going to get out of here. Stay safe and stay healthy. And here's till the next time I see you with more breaking news on the Fantasy Headliners.
Analytics, off the chain, all the channels, not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game.